Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next hour. PM Modi says Northeast emerging fast as India's powerhouse, launches several projects in energy, connectivity and healthcare in Arunachal Pradesh. Revised goods and services tax slabs come into effect, marking historic shift in the country's indirect tax regime. PM Modi calls it GST Savings Festival, the new rates to ease citizens' burden. Future of Gaza and Palestinian state recognition set to dominate the UN General Assembly summit starting in New York today. 4 countries support two-state solution for Palestine, prompting furious response from Israel. Pakistan cannot be considered rivals anymore, says Captain Surya Kumar Yadav after India thrashed Pakistan by 6 wickets in the Super 4 Clash of Asia Cup at Dubai. And at the Busan International Film Festival, India pushes for international co-productions. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Arunachal Pradesh, the capital Itanagar. Prime Minister laid the foundation stone of 2 major hydropower projects worth over 3,700 crore rupees. The projects are aimed at harnessing the vast hydroelectric potential and promoting sustainable energy generation in the region. Prime Minister laid the foundation stone of a state-of-the-art convention centre at Tawang, located at over 9,820 feet in the frontier district of Tawang. The centre will serve as a landmark facility to host national and international conferences, cultural festivals and exhibitions. With a capacity to host over 1,500 delegates, the centre will meet global standards and support the tourism and cultural potential of the country. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister Modi said that Northeast is fast emerging as India's powerhouse.
हमने पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट के विकास के लिए बजट कई गुना बढ़ाया। हमने लास्ट माइल कनेक्टिविटी और लास्ट माइल डिलीवरी को अपनी सरकार की पहचान बनाया। और इतना ही नहीं, हमने ये पक्का किया कि सरकार दिल्ली में बैठकर नहीं चलेगी। अफसरों को, मंत्रियों को ज्यादा से ज्यादा नॉर्थ ईस्ट आना होगा, यहां रात्रि मुकाम करना होगा।
Prime Minister Modi held a roadshow thereafter as his cavalcade traversed through the streets of Itanagar. He was welcomed by numerous people lining up the streets to welcome their supreme leader. So Prime Minister Modi will be in Tripura in the afternoon, where he will inaugurate the development work of Mata Tripura Sundari Temple Complex at Matabari. It is one of the ancient 51 Shakti Peeths located in Udaipur town of Gomati district. The complex will boost tourism, create employment and business opportunities and lead to overall socio-economic development of the region. Earlier, beginning his Arunachal Pradesh visit, Prime Minister Modi met shopkeepers and traders in the backdrop of the GST Savings Festival. In line with his vision of ensuring ease of doing business and fostering a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem, Prime Minister Modi handed The shopkeepers' placards of "Garv se kaho ye Swadeshi hai" say it with pride that this is made in India. The shopkeepers were happy on receiving these placards and said that they would place these placards on their shops. Prime Minister Modi also interacted with local taxpayers, traders and industry representatives to discuss the impact of the recent GST rate rationalization. Next generation GST reforms, so the simplified tax structure comes into effect across India today, bringing uniformity across food items with reduced number of tax slabs. The shift to a two-slab system of 5% and 18% removes the earlier slabs of 12 and 28%. On Sunday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his address to the nation remarked that now it is the turn of the poor and the neo-middle class to benefit from the next generation GST reforms. The Prime Minister termed the reforms would lead to a countrywide GST Savings Festival, which will usher in a new spurt of economic growth.
Country is all set to adopt a simplified two-tier tax system from September 22. Under next generation GST reform, a majority of goods and services will be taxed at 5% and 18%. In his address to the nation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi underscored that with lower GST rates, fulfilling personal dreams will become easier for citizens.
कल से देश में जीएसटी बचत उत्सव शुरू होने जा रहा है। इस जीएसटी बचत उत्सव में आपकी बचत बढ़ेगी और आप अपनी पसंद की चीजों को और ज्यादा आसानी से खरीद पाएंगे। हमारे देश के गरीब, मध्यम वर्गीय लोग, न्यू मिडिल क्लास, युवा, किसान, महिलाएं, दुकानदार, व्यापारी, उद्यमी सभी को ये बचत उत्सव का बहुत फायदा होगा।
Prime Minister expressed high expectations from MSMEs and underscored their historic role as the backbone of India's economy.
विकसित भारत के लक्ष्य तक पहुंचने के लिए हमें आत्मनिर्भरता के रास्ते पर चलना ही होगा और भारत को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने का बहुत बड़ा दायित्व हमारे एमएसएमईज यानी हमारे लघु, मध्यम और कुटीर उद्योगों पर भी है, जो देश के लोगों की जरूरत का है, जो हम देश में ही बना सकते हैं, वो हमें देश में ही बनाना चाहिए।
Prime Minister called for every household to become a symbol of Swadeshi and every shop to be adorned with indigenous goods. PM encouraged citizens to proudly declare their commitment to Swadeshi, I buy Swadeshi, I sell Swadeshi, and stated that this mindset must become intrinsic to every citizen. He appealed to all state governments to actively support the Atmanirbhar Bharat and Swadeshi campaigns by boosting manufacturing in their regions with full energy and enthusiasm. Prime Minister noted that this year the government has gifted tax relief by making income up to 12 lakh rupees tax-free, bringing a substantial ease and convenience to middle-class lives. Highlighting the importance of simplified tax system, Prime Minister called the GST reform adopted in 2017 as beginning of a new chapter in the country's economic history.
जब साल 2017 में भारत ने जीएसटी रिफॉर्म की तरफ कदम बढ़ाया था, तो एक पुराना इतिहास बदलने की और एक नया इतिहास रचने की शुरुआत हुई थी। दशकों तक हमारे देश की जनता, आप सभी लोग, देश के व्यापारी अलग अलग टैक्स के जाल में उलझे हुए थे। ऑक्ट्रॉय, एंट्री टैक्स, सेल टैक्स, एक्साइज, वेट, सर्विस टैक्स, न जाने भांति भांति के दर्जनों टैक्स हमारे देश में थे। एक शहर से दूसरे शहर माल भेजना हो तो न जाने कितने चेकपोस्ट पार करने होते थे।
Prime Minister also shared a personal memory from 2014 when he assumed office as Prime Minister, mentioning a striking example published in a foreign newspaper. The article described the challenges faced by a company that found it so difficult to send goods from Bengaluru to Hyderabad, a distance of just 570 kilometers, that it preferred to ship the goods from Bengaluru to Europe and then back to Hyderabad. On September 3, the GST Council in its 56th meeting had decided to reduce GST structure from 4 slabs, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28% to 2 main rates, 5% and 18%, along with a 40% special rate for sin or luxury goods. Bureau Report, DD India.
So in a social media post on X, Prime Minister Modi today wrote that at this time the auspicious occasion of Navratri is very special. Along with the GST Savings Festival, the mantra of Swadeshi is going to receive a new energy during this period. Let us come together in collective efforts for the fulfillment of the resolve for a developed and self-reliant India. Union Railways Information and Broadcasting Minister Ashwini Vaishnav lauded the next generation GST reforms being implemented in the country from today, terming them as the most beneficial for the common man.
दिन में जो दैनंदिन काम में आने वाली डेली यूज की चीजें हैं, 99% चीजों पे जीएसटी की दरें कम हुई है। बहुत बड़ा हम सब के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा ये बेनिफिट है। हम सब के घरों में बचत होगी। आज से बचत का महोत्सव भी चालू होता है।
Reduction in the GST rates during the festival season is expected to boost consumption and encourage higher production. Additionally, the reduction in GST on medicines and insurance will provide significant relief to the common person. We now get you a reaction from Chennai, where an entrepreneur has termed the reforms a game changer.
When we look at this GST reforms, this 2.0, as a startup company, so we especially think it is very, very, very useful, and from the consumer point of view, the consumption would also increase. So which will automatically, reflect into more production, in-house production in the country, which will make way for Make in India initiative as well.
While a research scholar from Chennai believes that reduction in GST on appliances such as air conditioners, refrigerators, washing machines and others is expected to significantly boost sales. Likewise, the lower GST on stationery items, including books and pens, will bring considerable relief to parents.
Recently, government reduced the 12% to 5%. So, first it makes everyday essential like milk, butter, ghee, cheese, paneer and other more affordable. Even a small reduction in price helps families save money on their monthly budget. Secondly, these savings improve household food security. So, third, the reduction is inflation pressure. Since food prices play a major role in overall cost of living, cutting GST helps control rising expenses from common households.
And also we can see that stationery items, school students, utilities like pencils, erasers and common items like notebooks, they have reduced the slab to 0%. This is a new dimension which no one has introduced in the history of Bharat. This is a revolutionary concept, and it will be benefiting to a lot of students in Bharat. Thereby we can see that towards the Vikasit Bharat and also towards the Diwali, the government is giving this much reduction to the common people.
You're watching DD India News. Are still to come on the show. Will GST rate reduction translate into a rise in demand? We discuss this with our expert. A sheeppox outbreak decimates flocks in central Greece, threatening production of feta cheese.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. but sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. We read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I am Tanvi Taneja. Going back to one of our top stories, Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomed the next generation reforms while congratulating the citizens on what he called the GST Savings Festival. DD India's Shishir Shelar joins us from Mumbai now. Shishir, what have you seen so far in Mumbai? Have consumers, shopkeepers welcomed the new GST rates?
Well, absolutely. As far as we've seen that on the 22nd, the deadline was given for the new GST rates implementation, and since morning we have seen here that shopkeepers, the business players also have started getting a new fares and ultimately passing the benefit to the common customers here. Well, we also spoke to the principal chief commissioner of the CGST of Mumbai zone, and he actually stated that they have actually interacted with most of the business players also, and have also created awareness among the business industry as to how they're going to implement these particular tax reforms are concerned. Obviously, he said that this is quite, we can say, a simplified tax regime and probably a rate rationalization that probably we've seen in the GST reforms 2.0. Going forward, it is more simplified way because earlier there was a 4-tiered tax slabs. Right now we are seeing only 2-tiered tax slabs, that is a 5% and 18%. And that's the reason most of the people are going to get benefit of it, because nearly 400 plus items have been bring to the 5% tax bracket from earlier 12 or probably 18% tax bracket that we have seen. And that's the reason is actually giving benefit to the customers here. Now look at the internal economic conditions of the country. We have seen last month the Reserve Bank of India have unchanged the repo rate as almost 5.5%. Before that, in the budget also we have seen here that the tax slabs has increased to almost 12 lakh per annum. With the individuals having a 12 lakh salary or less than 12 lakh salary, probably he'll be exempted from the tax bracket. And that's the reason these measures taken by the government is giving more disposable income to the common man. And now obviously with the GST reforms, we may see that the household expenditure, a monthly household expenditure of a common man or probably middle class person is reduced to almost 5 to 10%. And that's a huge amount probably, and that's the reason most of the experts are saying that this amount, which probably the people are benefiting from it, either it will boost the consumption also, at the same time it will also help to save more money from different type of investment options that are available for the people. So obviously it's a win-win situation for the customers also and for the consumers as well. At the same time, if you look at the trade aspect and the business aspect, obviously the few of the business players actually were quite worried about what the geopolitical situation panned out in last few months. But the way the government have taken steps, now even the traders and the businessmen are actually thinking that this will definitely give some boost to the demand here. And that's the reason now from the probably next month or probably from today itself that we have seen that festive season is on in India. We have seen the Navratri, we have seen Diwali festival, the New Year festival also. So obviously this will pick up demand in the Indian market for the next 2 to 3 months, probably a consumer driven market we'll see. And that's the reason more numbers and more activities, economic activities will take place in Indian market, will benefit to the consumer and the trader as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shishir. Let me also now bring in some perspective here on the show. Sanjay Mangal, Chief Commissioner, CGST, Meerut Zone, joins me on the show now. Welcome, Sanjay ji, to DD India News. The GST 2.0 reforms have come into effect today, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the middle class and the neo-middle class are receiving a kind of double bonanza. But before we go into the specifics, how significant a day is it for the Indian economy and especially for these two classes of Indians?
Look, Tanvi, this onset of this GST reforms from today is a historic day in terms of taxation and economy for the country. There are two reasons for that. First, it simplifies the tax structure, which was complicated earlier in form of four rate slabs, and it is converting it into two rate slabs, simplifying the structure, putting all the items, major items of similar nature into same slab, so making it very simple tax. Second, it has reduced the rates on a large number of items. As your report was earlier mentioning, almost 390 plus items, the rates have been reduced in this reform. So the benefit of this reform is ultimately going to the common man, to the citizens, as Honorable Prime Minister highlighted, emphasized yesterday, that the motto of these reforms and before the government was consumer welfare only, citizen or citizen Devo Bhav, Nagarik Devo Bhav. And considering that in mind, these reforms have reduced the rates on a very large number of items. Most of the essential use items are now either exempted or in 5% slab. And other items, health related items, most of them are now in 5% or exempted. Similarly, insurance, health insurance and life insurance, that has been exempted fully. Agricultural items, they have been brought to 5%. Similarly, stationary items, most of them, a number of them have been exempted. And automobile, the rate reduction is quite huge. So combined, you will see it will result in a lot of savings for the consumer. And ultimately, this dispensable income, which will come in the hands of the consumers, it's going to be put in purchase of more products, which will give a big boost to the industrial growth of the country and to ultimately accelerate Indian economic growth.
Okay, cars, including small cars and mini SUVs, will be seeing a significant cut in prices following the GST rate cut. Could you tell us about these price cuts and the consequent gains for the middle class and the neo-middle class, as also for all consumers?
Look, before the rate cut, most of these automobile items, they were in higher slab of 28%, equivalent to the sin goods. And along with the compensation cess, which was also leviable, ranging from 1% to 10-15%. So after this reform, the rates on the automobiles, which are for common men or for middle class, they have been brought down from 28% to 28%. Small cars, three-wheelers, two-wheelers, buses, trucks, all these items have been brought in a rate of 18%. Tractors have been brought to 5%. So you will see that, and compensation cess has also been removed now. So combined effect of these reductions will give a significant rate reduction in automobile sector, and automobile sector will be one of the biggest beneficiary of these rate reductions in my view.
Okay.
The demand of automobiles will pick up, and because today is the onset of festival season also, and Navratris, a lot of people make huge purchases of automobiles. So this is going to be a big bonanza for the automobile sector.
Okay, MSMEs are a very important player in the Indian economy, and they are extremely important both as regards producing goods for export and providing employment. How far will MSMEs benefit from GST 2.0?
MSMEs are the main partner in this growth story, and the reform will ultimately depend on the participation of MSME in this reform process. Because if the full benefit of these rate reductions is passed on to the consumers, and MSME will play a major role in that, then the demand boost and consumption growth will ultimately help all the industries, including MSME. And yesterday's Prime Minister's speech highlighted the benefit of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Swadeshi movement, and which will highlight the purchase of more and more domestic products. This will give a very big boost to the MSME sector, because instead of importing the products, instead of buying the imported products, people will use the domestic products, and this will increase the demand for MSME products and their supplies and turnover.
Okay, as goods get cheaper, sir, can we expect Indian exports to also benefit as soon as the international climate normalizes? We have Piyush Goyal in Washington today, so of course the India-US trade talks are on the right track.
Tanvi, in the medium run, after a certain time, in short run, immediately it may not be of that huge benefit to the exports. But definitely in medium term, it will be a huge benefit to the export market, because it will increase the competitiveness of Indian industry through increased demand, through increased investment. They will have more cost competitiveness. They will be in a position to make their supplies to export market more competitively. So I think in medium term it will be a big booster for export sector also.
Okay, we leave it here. Thank you very much, Sanjay Mangalji, for giving us your perspective on this historic day, the rollout of GST 2.0 reforms.
Thank you.
Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan released 4 books on selected speeches of Prime Minister Narendra Modi titled Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas at the Vice President's Enclave in New Delhi. Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh, Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ashwini Vaishnav, Secretary to Vice President Amit Khare and Information and Broadcasting Ministry Secretary Sanjay Jaju were present at the event. These books will be available through the Publication Division's website and its 10 regional sales centres and also leading e-commerce platforms. A book exhibition has also been curated, showcasing all the previously published volumes of the Prime Minister's speeches along with today's new releases. Vice President Radhakrishnan said that Prime Minister Modi is a living inspiration for millions of people in the country and abroad.
Our Prime Minister has grown from being a representative of the common man to the true people's leader, whose determination has shown us how the impossible can be made possible. Though 50% duty has been put on India by America, but Trump is always saying, Modi ji is my great friend. Even that situation, he has not said, I am against Modi, but he is always telling, I am for Modi.
INB Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said Prime Minister Modi has always put the nation and service above his own self.
अगर किसी नेता ने सेवा और राजनीति इन दोनों को जोड़ के राजनीति को सेवा का माध्यम बनाया तो वो है हमारे प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी। पूरे देश की जो काम करने की जीवन यापन की जीवन शैली को परिवर्तन करने जितने बड़े काम मोदी जी ने कई सेक्टर्स में किए और आज जब दुनिया देखती है 80 करोड़ देशवासियों को हर महीने राशन फ्लॉलेसली मिलता है तो विश्व भर में फूड सिक्योरिटी का सबसे बड़ा कार्यक्रम आज भारत में चल रहा है। अपने स्व को भुलाकर समाज को ऊपर रखा, स्व को भुलाकर राष्ट्र को ऊपर रखा, स्व को भुलाकर सेवा को ऊपर रखा।
INB Secretary Sanjay Jaju said that the books published by the Publication Division are reader-friendly.
The first set covers the speeches of the Honorable Prime Minister delivered between June 2022 till May 2023, while the second set comprises a speech from June 2023 to May 2024. Alongside the print editions, the e-book versions are also being launched, making these volumes accessible to readers across the world with just a click.
India and Brazil have jointly launched the Maitri 2.0 Cross-Borders Agri-Tech Incubators Program. Under this initiative, both countries will promote agricultural technology and agri-startups. The aim is to modernize farming, enhance the use of new machinery and technology, and increase farmers' income. The partnership between India and Brazil will boost cross-border innovation, helping to address key challenges in agriculture. Startups and research institutions from both nations will work together to develop new solutions and advanced technologies. Maitri 2.0 is set to give a new dimension to smart farming, sustainable production, and international collaboration in agriculture.
what we started this Maitri program, Maitri 2.0, which is focusing on exchange of knowledge, innovations, capacity, more particularly from the perspective of agri-startups. And I think there are other avenues in terms of the trade related to agriculture. India and Brazil been working together, and we can do better, and we are in process of doing better.
Brazil and India are both agricultural powerhouses. We also have strong research institutions to develop further the productivity and the resilience of our agriculture. So this Maitri 2.0 initiative, it's basically implementing this partnership according to to what our leaders told us when Honorable Prime Minister Modi made this state visit to Brazil last July.
And now we take a look at other stories making news around the world. In central Greece, stock breeders face devastation as a sheep pox outbreak decimates flocks, prompting warnings of nationwide animal movement restrictions. Authorities report that more than 260,000 sheep and goats, about 2% of the national herd, have been culled in the past year, forcing 1,100 farms to shut down. The highly infectious virus now threatens food prices and the production of Greece's iconic feta cheese. In Indonesia, Bali residents are seeking answers after last week's floods killed 18 people. Many blame years of rapid tourism-driven development, which has reshaped the island's landscape. It's prompted Bali's governor to ban new commercial construction on agricultural land. Despite a record of 6.5 million foreigners are expected to visit Bali this year. In Marrakesh, Morocco, the 11th edition of the International Crimea Exhibition for Hospitality, Culinary Arts and Food Industries kicked off today. This year's theme of the event is Hospitality 2030, Moroccan Ambition, highlighting efforts to boost Morocco's position as a hospitality hub in Africa. The event gathers professionals and companies from across hospitality, culinary arts and food technologies. In Japan's Fukuoka prefecture, the annual mechanized puppet show at Yame City's Fukushima Hashiman Shrine has begun. The tradition, dating back nearly 280 years to the Edo period, is recognized as a national important intangible folk cultural property. This year's performance portrays a feudal lord and his subordinates, tipsy on sake, marking a springtime shrine visit. You're watching DD India News. Are still to come on this show. High stakes India-US trade talks to begin in Washington today, just as External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will meet US Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the sidelines of the UNGA in New York. Nepal's Prime Minister Sushila Karki expands her cabinet, 5 new ministers to be inducted in the new interim government. And Peru's Gen Z protesters clash with police in Lima over pension reforms and crime rates.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Thank you for staying with us on DD India News. I am Tanvi Taneja. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is in New York to attend the 80th anniversary of the United Nations General Assembly. Today he is expected to meet US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. According to the US advisory, the meet is expected at 11 a.m. EST today. The meeting would be the first one since Trump's 50% tariff imposition on India. Interestingly, the meet comes on a day when India-US trade talks are taking place in the United States. A high-level delegation led by Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal will visit the United States to hold discussions and negotiations on the India-US trade deal. The delegation aims to advance the ongoing trade talks and work towards the early conclusion of a mutually beneficial trade agreement between India and the US. The discussions are expected to be focusing on strengthening bilateral trade, investment, and economic cooperation across all sectors. During the last visit of the team of officials from the Office of the United States Trade Representative to India on 16 September, positive discussions were held on various aspects of the trade deal, and it was decided to intensify efforts in this regard. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who is on a two-day visit to Morocco, interacted with the Indian community in Rabat. The minister lauded the hard work and dedication that defines the Indian community across the world. He highlighted the transformational journey of India in the last decade in multiple dimensions and how Indian diaspora echoed the growing sense of pride derived from the rising global stature of the country.
और हम रोजी रोटी कमा रहे हैं मोरक्को में, अपने परिवार की परवरिश हम मोरक्को में रहकर कर रहे हैं। तो भारत के प्रति हमारी निष्ठा, भारत के प्रति हमारा लगाव, भारत के प्रति हमारा प्रेम, यह स्वाभाविक है, होना भी चाहिए। लेकिन हमें नहीं भूलना चाहिए कि हर के बावजूद हम भारतवासी हैं, चाहे हम दुनिया में जहां भी हैं। भारतवासी हैं तो हमारा अन्य लोगों से कोई डिफरेंट कैरेक्टर नहीं है, हमारा अलग चरित्र है। इस मोरक्को के साथ भी कोई दगाबाजी, धोखा नहीं होना चाहिए, यही भारत का कैरेक्टर है, क्योंकि भारत की पहचान सारी दुनिया में कुछ अलग प्रकार की है। अब देखिए, मुझे खुशी है इस बात की कि आप लोग ये महसूस कर रहे हैं, इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी में भारत का स्टेचर बढ़ा है, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय जगत में भारत का कद बढ़ा है। पहले क्या हालात थे? पहले इंटरनेशनल फोरम पर भारत कुछ बोलता था तो भारत की बातों को जितनी गंभीरतापूर्वक लिया जाना चाहिए नहीं लिया जाता था। आज इंटरनेशनल फोरम पर भारत कुछ बोलता है तो सारी दुनिया कान खोलकर सुनती है कि भारत बोल क्या रहा है। यह हैसियत भारत की बनी है। पहले ऐसे हालात नहीं थे, और कितने सब चैलेंजेस हैं, जियो पॉलिटिकल और ग्लोबल चैलेंजेस, इन सब के बावजूद भारत आए one of the fastest growing major economies.
Marking the first ever visit by an Indian Defence Minister to the country, Rajnath Singh was received at the Mohammed International Airport by the head wali of Military Command of Casablanca and Indian Ambassador to Morocco, Sanjay Rana. A key highlight of the visit will be the inauguration of Tata Advanced Systems Morocco's new manufacturing facility for the wheeled armoured platform 8x8 at Bershid. This facility is the first ever Indian defence manufacturing plant in Africa, which marks an important milestone that reflects the growing global footprint of India's defence industry under the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. Now, at the start of the UNGA 80 in New York, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar met Secretary of Foreign Affairs of Philippines, Teresa P. Lazaro. The two leaders followed up on the recent state visit of President Bongbong Marcos to India. They also discussed the cooperation in the UN and Indo-Pacific region. The UK is set to push for a peace plan for the Middle East at the 80th session of the UN General Assembly at New York. after recognizing the state of Palestine. Britain, Canada and Australia announced formal recognition of the state of Palestine on Sunday in an attempt to pile pressure on Israel. The decision by 4 nations from the West aligned them with more than 140 other countries also backing Palestinians' aspirations to forge an independent homeland from the occupied territories. Other nations, including France, are expected to follow suit this week at the UNGA. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned the move, while Hamas welcomed it, saying that it must be accompanied by practical measures to end the conflict in Gaza and prevent Israel from annexing the West Bank. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said recognition would help pave the way for the state of Palestine to live side by side with the state of Israel in security, peace and good neighborliness. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump previously made clear that he opposes such a move. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu categorically rejected the one-sided declaration of the recognition of Palestine by UK, Australia and Canada. In a statement, he said, and I quote him here, "I have a clear message to those leaders who are recognizing a Palestinian state after the horrendous October 7th massacre. You are rewarding terror with an enormous prize. And I have another message for you. It's not going to happen. There will be no Palestinian state to the west of the Jordan River. For years, I have prevented the creation of that terror state against tremendous pressure, both domestic and from abroad. We have done this with determination and with astute statesmanship. Moreover, we have doubled the Jewish settlement in Judea and Samaria, and we will continue on this path. The response to the latest attempt to force upon us a terror state in the heart of our land will be given after my return from the United States. Stand by." The Israeli Defense Forces deployed its 3rd Division, the 36th, to Gaza City as operations widened across the region, targeting Hamas's main stronghold. According to the IDF, after about 2 weeks of intensified preparations, the 36th Division began moving into Gaza City as part of a ground operation called Gideon's Chariots B. These were aimed at broadening the scope of the offensive. 2 other units have already been operating in Gaza City, advancing further into the area. The military added that in recent days, under the guidance of a division-level fire command, it had struck dozens of targets across the Gaza Strip to facilitate the entry of ground forces. IDF spokesperson Effie Defron said in a video statement Sunday evening that more than 550,000 civilians had left Gaza City and moved south. A total of 48 of the hostages still remain in Gaza and around 20 are believed to be alive. On to the other crisis of the world. Russia's war against Ukraine started more than 3.5 years ago, and it's changed the political and economic landscape in Europe. Now, the EU has prepared another package of sanctions against Russia, another effort to put pressure on Moscow to end their aggression. Lars Holte is with Deutsche Welle and joins me from Berlin on the story. Lars, what can you tell us about the latest EU sanctions package against Russia?
Thanks for having me. Yes, yet another initiative. This is indeed the 19th sanctions package that the EU has prepared. And you have to wonder if any of those have done anything. They have likely, of course, worsened the situation economically in Russia, but they haven't done much in terms of moving Moscow, moving Putin any closer towards ending his war in Ukraine. Anyway, there are 2 reasons why this 19th initiative was now put together. First of all, just over a week ago, Russian fighter drones got into Polish and Romanian airspace, and then we've seen another breach over Estonia just this weekend. So, of course, Western alliances had to respond to a violation of EU and NATO airspace. Also, US President Trump has implored the EU to join his country in levying higher tariffs against China and India, specifically for buying Russian gas. And while it's unlikely that anyone in Brussels wants to play the tariff game Trump has started, They do understand the pressure here. Trump said quite clearly that he insists on such action, otherwise he won't show any support in the ongoing struggle with Moscow. And the EU, as well as anyone in NATO, knows, of course, that US participation is absolutely necessary if they're seriously hoping to eventually end this long and deadly conflict.
Thank you very much, Lars Salter, reporting from DW Berlin. Newly appointed Prime Minister of Nepal, Sushila Karki, recommended the names of 5 new ministers. Anil Kumar Sinha, who was a former judge in the Supreme Court, will be given 3 portfolios of Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Supply, Law and Justice and Land Reforms, Cooperatives and Poverty Alleviation. Mahabir Pan, an academician, will be appointed the Minister of Education and Science and Technology. Madan Prasad Pariyar, an agriculturist, is being appointed as Agriculture Minister. Jagdish Kharel, a senior journalist, is being given a portfolio of the Information and Communications Ministry, while Sangeeta Mishra will be appointed as the Health Minister. The interim cabinet already has 3 ministers, including Ramshor Khanal as Minister of Finance, Kulman Gising as Minister for Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation, and Om Prakash Aryal as Minister for Home Affairs. Anti-government protests broke out in Peru's capital Lima on Sunday. At least 18 people, including police officers and journalists, were injured during a protest organized by the youth-led Generation Z collective. The protesters, upset with President Dina Boluarte's administration, confronted police with stones and sticks as police used tear gas to prevent them from reaching government buildings. 12 officers along with 6 journalists were reported injured. The National Association of Journalists and the National Human Rights Coordinator condemned the police actions. President Boluarte's approval ratings have dropped significantly amid increasing crime and extortion cases. India is making a strong creative presence at the Busan International Film Festival. Today, a special roundtable was held with the Busan Film Commission to discuss film collaborations and co-productions between India and Korea. DD India's Jaya Sinha reports from Busan.
The roundtable, held at Bexco, brought together senior representatives from India's Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, the Busan Film Commission, and leading filmmakers from both the countries. India is participating with its strongest ever contingent, led by Minister of State Dr. L. Murugan, along with senior officials and creators from the Waves Bazaar initiative. India made a special presentation at the roundtable, highlighting its strong push for international co-productions. From single window clearances to subsidies of up to 40% for foreign filmmakers, India is opening its doors wider than ever.
India deeply values such platforms that enable dialogues and cooperation in the creative sector. This festival hope that our country resolves to expand co-production, create new opportunities in the AVGC sector, animation, visual effects, gaming and comics sector, and strengthen cultural bonds with South Korea.
The discussions focused on expanding co-productions, sharing creative expertise, and exploring incentives for international filmmakers to shoot in India. Industry leaders highlighted the potential of combining Korea's technical excellence with India's diverse storytelling.
I think this kind of conversation is really timely because as a producer, thinking about quality improvement and reducing the cost, and this is about developing new market for us. So in this era of global streamers, all the changings and everything that happens, I think as a producer, I think I could take a lot of good benefits out of this whole conversation. I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, actually, I just recently repped a Indo-Korea project that will be released on the Netflix Korea, US, and India. And then the cultural similarities were stunning. I was in Chennai filming for 3 weeks, and then so many similar stories, so many similar aspects from our cultures. The future for the Indo-Korea collaboration is quite bright, and then a lot of producers seem to be interested in Korea to pursue such stories.
This dialogue gave a platform to bring Indian stories to a global audience and work closely with Korean filmmakers.
After this discussion initiated by Government of India and the Korean Embassy, I am very hopeful, and I hope that it will bring some possibilities to the new filmmakers also, individual filmmakers also.
At the roundtable, India showcased a major policy push for international co-productions. With this much-needed government support, India is positioning itself as one of the world's most attractive filmmaking destinations.
Today's roundtable between the Busan Film Commission and India marked yet another step in strengthening cinema ties, with India showcasing its strongest ever contingent in BIF and new opportunities in co-production. The dialogue has paved way for deeper creative collaboration. This is Jaya Sinha for DD India in Busan with camera person N.A. Shivakumar.
Indian film director Suruchi Sharma also shared her experience at the Busan International Film Festival.
I'm joined by Suruchi. Suruchi, welcome to DD India. Can you just talk about how we are having this Bharat Pavilion here, and you talk about you being part of this film festival. So tell us about India's participation and experience here at the Bharat Pavilion.
We all filmmakers from India thrilled to be here at Busan, Asia Cinema Film Pavilion here, Bharat Pavilion here, because definitely to be here representing our country, getting our films here to be viewed and discussed by international delegates, it's quite a privilege, and we get to share our work, our journeys with the world here when we are here at the Bharat Pavilion. Thankfully, it is being facilitated by the team of NFDC and the entire team at Bharat Pavilion. So that's really helpful for us, because then the entire all the delegates are especially welcomed here for meetings, and we can get to have those conversations with them one-to-one. So it's quite helpful and quite a thrilling experience for all of us.
It's the strongest ever lineup by India here at the Busan Film Festival.
Right.
Your film also being there in the various segments. Tell us about that also.
Right. I'm here with my film Gagan Gaman, just to show, this is a little poster of my film Gagan Gaman. It's a Rajasthani folk fantasy, and it is being screened at the online section at the ACFM screening portal. And there are, of course, a lot of other filmmakers who've come with their films in the film festival. Vikas Mishra with his film Bayan, Tribeni with his Shape of Momo. So very exciting time for India to be, welcomed by the world in their independent film section.
Okay, thank you for joining us in DD India.
you.
So definitely, stories from real India are making their presence felt here at Busan International Film Festival. Back to you, studio.
All right, so let's now connect with Jaya Sinha joining us from Busan. Jaya, tell us a bit more about the Bharat Pavilion and also throw some light on its significance.
Yes, definitely. You asked about Bharat Pavilion. So let me take you to Bharat Pavilion, okay? So right now we are at the Asia Contents Film Market, and here is Bharat Pavilion. You can see the Little India, Chhota Laghu Bharat here at Busan Asian Film Market, and our film Bharat Pavilion is themed India Creative Economy for the World, and it's more than just a display. It's a hub where filmmakers from across the globe are exploring partnerships with India, whether in co-production, distribution or talent exchange for India. It marks a shift from being just a film producing country to positioning itself as a global content powerhouse. It's about taking Indian cinema and the entire creative economy onto the world center stage. Stories from real India are making their presence felt here at Busan International Film Festival. Back to you, studio.
All right, let's now take you to India's northeast. Thousands of fans and well-wishers showed up to pay their last respects to Zubin Garg, the musical maestro and cultural icon of Assam. The cremation of legendary singer Zubin Garg will be held on 23rd September at a designated site in Sonapur, Guwahati. The decision was taken by the Assam government in consultation with the family members. Earlier on Sunday, fans gathered in large numbers and paid their tributes to the music maestro. Zubin passed away in Singapore on Friday in what was first reported as a scuba diving accident. Reports later stated that he died while swimming in the sea without a life jacket. The singer was rushed to the hospital but was later declared dead. A post-mortem was conducted in Singapore before his body was handed over to India. And on to some sporting action now. India cricket captain Surya Kumar Yadav said that the matches against Pakistan can no longer be considered a rivalry after his side extended their recent dominance over their neighbours with a 6-wicket victory at the Asia Cup. India's second win over Pakistan at the tournament padded their head-to-head record in the format to 11 wins against 3 losses with 1 match tied.
मेरे हिसाब से अगर 2 टीमें 15-20 मैच खेल रही हैं और उसमें अगर 7 ऑल है या 8-7 से कोई आगे चल रहा है तो उसको अच्छा क्रिकेट खेलना बोलते हैं और उसको राइवलरी बोलते हैं. 13-0, 10-1 मुझे पता नहीं क्या स्टैट है, बट दिस इज नॉट अ राइवलरी एनी मोर. बट या आई फील वी प्लेड बेटर क्रिकेट देन देम.
The 9-day Navratri festival is being celebrated across India with great fervour. Devotees thronged temples across the country on Monday to mark the beginning of the festival. Over the next 9 days, devotees offer prayers to Hindu goddess Durga and her 9 forms. Ma Shailputri, the first among the 9 divine forms of Ma Durga, is worshipped on the opening day of Navratri festival. She is revered as the goddess of prosperity and regarded as the embodiment of Mother Nature, with devotees seeking her blessings for spiritual growth and awakening. The holy town of Katra in Jammu echoed with devotional chants and vibrant energy this morning as devotees thronged the base camp on the first day of Navratri. Pilgrims carrying offerings of flowers, coconuts and red chunneries, scarves, moved in long processions toward the revered Sri Mata Vaishno Devi shrine. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. For those on the go, you can also download our DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. We'll be back with more news as it breaks air on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for watching. Namaskar.